So let's just work our way through this issue of why lead. If I could pick up the question, why do we need leaders? What's the big deal? Or rather, let's phrase it a different way. Can you imagine what would need to happen in the world so we wouldn't need leaders? Let's just have a buzz around the table. Just have a quick discussion. What do you think would have to happen so we no longer needed leaders? Over to you. It's only a minute. Just have a think about it. What would have to happen so we didn't need them?
People would have to be very autonomous. Would everybody have to think for themselves? Power and control and sharing.
Wait, you don't already do that?
I missed the joke there. Giant collective. No leaders. So everybody...
Spend every day in meetings.
Okay, it's about 5 seconds left. Okay, I've picked up that one group thing that we'd all live in this enormous collective where we'd spend all our days in meetings and do nothing at all.
We already do that.
Okay, anything else? What else would have to happen so that we wouldn't need leaders?
No new ideas.
No new ideas. So if there was no new ideas, we wouldn't need them. What else?
Everyone would have to be self-motivated.
Self-motivated people who know what they're doing and just get on and don't relate to anyone else. Great, what else?
No conflict.
There's no conflict, there's nothing to resolve.
No competition.
There's no competition. That sounds really like today, doesn't it? No. Okay. The reality is, leadership becomes important when things are happening, when there's change, when there's activity. If there's very little of that, if there's very little of the need to actually correlate and coordinate what's happening, then you really don't need them. But there's one real issue, which is the difference between leaders and managers. And I think that's quite a crucial one. Because sometimes you have an organization and has these people who are called leaders, but somehow or other, they're not really changing things. They're delivering what they're supposed to and probably what they delivered last year. And it's a really important distinction. If you think about it, you have to be able to recognize how you become a manager. How do you become a manager? You do good work. The organization grows. Yes? One day, someone comes to you. Who comes to you? Another leader pats you on the head and anoints you and said, "Thou art now manager, arise and take thy region." Am I right? Okay. How do you become a leader? What's a leader? What's the difference between that? Now, I want you to imagine something, okay? I want you to imagine that a naked man painted a weird shade of blue, bursts in through the door, and runs around the room going, okay? And we all watch them, and he runs out again. We go, what was that? Okay? Now, if he's on his own, we worry about this person's state of mind. However, if another 15 seconds later, 20 other naked men and women, also painted bright blue, same shade, burst in and run around going, it basically means that first one was a leader. Do you understand? Leadership isn't about the content. It's some weird thing which says when other people decide to follow you, that's what makes you a leader. And that's how you can tell. So people can say, that person's a world leader. If no one's following them, believe me, they're not. Yeah? Or they can say, I'm a great leader. You look, nobody's taking any notice of them. They're doing their own thing. Oh, yeah. They're not a leader. It's a very simple thing. There are people who we need when we get into an environment where there's an awful lot of change. Now, that's straightforward enough. But one weird thing which has happened is we've always had leaders. You look through history, we've had leaders in times of war, leaders in times of peace, blah, 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 etc. That's not the interesting part. The interesting part is how the world has shaped itself in order to make sure that we actually do need not just lots of leaders, but we actually need a different type of leader.